With the number one overall pick, I think the Timberwolves need to shore up that wing position. They don't really have anyone, at that small forward position that's of note. So what I'm thinking is they go to the Golden State Warriors and they trade that number one overall pick for Andrew Wiggins. If you like anything you see today, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to see our content first. Now, let's get back to the video. So the Minnesota Timberwolves have the number one overall pick, and they're not sure what to do with it. What do you think they should do with that number one overall pick?
Well, what I see that team lacking is defense. And a defender I think they could acquire with that first pick is Ben Simmons. Cat is a stretch. He can shoot the ball. We know Ben can't. So, that complementary action would work.
I'm kind of along the same lines of what AP said. The Timberwolves need a defender. Obviously, they can't get another center because running that two-center lineup might be too slow. I think the Timberwolves should trade the number one overall pick to the Orlando Magic for their 15th overall pick and Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's really similar to Ben Simmons there. Aaron Gordon's a little bit smaller and, he's not as renowned as a defender. But over the last two seasons, he's been guarding the other team's best player, on a consistent basis. And he's been pretty good at that. Obviously, his offense hasn't been great. Everyone knows him for his dunking, but offensively, he hasn't had that much production. And he's really been making his money in that starting lineup as the primary defensive guy. So Aaron Gordon seems more of a realistic trade target because I don't know if the Sixers will let go of Ben Simmons. Philly loves Ben. I'd love to see Ben with Cat and D'Lo though. But so Aaron Gordon seems like more of a kind of easy pick to get. And with Aaron Gordon, they could probably get the Orlando Magic first round pick as well. The Magic are looking for guards because DJ Augustin, they're starting point guard. He's 34, I think. So he's kind of up there in age. So getting someone like LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards would, kind of help them get younger on the guard position. So I think it's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, I like both those picks. Kind of going for that defensive-minded stopper that the Timberwolves need. I think kind of another area that the Timberwolves could look to improve is that power forward position. So kind of a trade that I thought of was if they trade the number one pick to Atlanta for John Collins and then their 2022 first-round pick. Now, this would work for both teams because obviously the Hawks, they've got that Trae Young, they've already got their franchise player. Is John Collins going to be that number two guy for the Hawks, to make a championship push in a few years' time?
Nah, he's a drug addict.
I'm not too sure, but I think what he would be perfect for is kind of that third fiddle at Minnesota. Obviously, very offensive-heavy lineup, which the Timberwolves kind of already have. But only 7 players in the league for the past 2 seasons have averaged 19 plus points and 9 rebounds. And 2 of those players would be Cat and John Collins. So you'd be comparing, pretty much 2 walking double-doubles. And you're just getting instant offense. You're getting 20 and 10 from both of them every night. Add D'Lo running the point. I think it's a very offensive-heavy move, as I said. But, if you could really get that going, you could be putting up 120 a night easy.
With the number one overall pick, I think the Timberwolves need to shore up that wing position. They don't really have anyone, at that small forward position that's of note. So what I'm thinking is they go to the Golden State Warriors and they trade that number one overall pick for Andrew Wiggins. Do you guys even think that the Timberwolves are going to trade that first overall pick? Especially since everyone's kind of hesitant to want to move up in this draft. Do you think they'll be willing to take a worse offer just to move out of that pick, or do you think they'll just take LaMelo or whoever's on top of their draft board? I
personally think they should keep it. If they could get that Ben Simmons trade done, AP, as you suggested, I think they're, for a former number one pick in Simmons, how many time All-Star now, one of the best defensive players in the league, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I think they would have to give up a bit more than just that number one pick. If they could make that happen, I'd definitely be doing it. But I think other than that, Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball would be a good fit for that Timberwolves team. There's question marks on LaMelo's defense, but I think once he gets into the league, I think he's got the length and the basketball IQ to really become an elite defender in the league. And if, the Timberwolves can get that working, it's seriously scary. They'll have, 3 All-Stars if Edwards or LaMelo becomes that All-Star player. And you kind of had that big 3, which has been so successful in winning championships over the past, 20 years.
I think you're dreaming if you think Melo is going to be an elite defender. We watched him. We saw how lazily that guy plays. Plays with zero
Okay.
effort, that guy.
He was a kid. He was a kid, AP. He wasn't earning millions of dollars a year to do what he does.
I mean, but
So
like
I think
you don't lose hustle, right?
that's a good point.
Like hustle is something that is like it's just with you. Like I've never seen Jimmy play like all loosey goosey and all,
Yeah.
He's always like in the zone or
Do you
doing
think-
something. If he's not scoring, he's defending.
Do you think it like could be a kind of a not a sense of arrogance, but maybe like he knows that there's bigger fish to fry, and the NBL was kind of a stepping stone to get to that NBA level. And obviously, once you're in the NBA, you can't like sag off against Curry and Lillard and all these types of players. So you have to step up.
I mean,
especially in the NBA with the three ball so deadly now.
Was he even that good in the NBL though?
Averaged nearly a triple double.
I've heard them talking about trading that number 1 overall pick to the Knicks, and the Knicks moving all the way up to 1. I don't know what they'd trade. Probably like Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and they'd have to throw in some future picks as well. Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
It does seem at this stage that the Timberwolves probably aren't going to keep that number 1 overall pick. A lot of people, especially in our comments, have been saying Melo's going to the Knicks. It's a big market. Puma wouldn't have signed him to a $100 million contract if he wasn't going to a big market. And obviously Minnesota's like a tiny market. So, there's that kind of discussion has been happening. But from like a pure basketball perspective, like pretty much what we've all said is the Timberwolves need defense, and trading that number 1 overall pick for some, interior defense through like that power forward position to back Cat up. That's kind of what we've been leaning towards. One thing I quickly want to mention, and I think we should talk about this a little bit, is recently I've been hearing reports of Devin Booker not being interested in staying in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And obviously the Timberwolves have like the number 1 overall pick, which is what this whole video is about. Do you think that trading that number 1 overall pick and just like a bunch of other picks, maybe some players for Devin Booker, is in the realm of possibility? Because obviously if Booker's not happy in Phoenix, they just had that phenomenal run. But if he's not happy there, do you think he wants to go over to Minnesota and play with his friends?
If I was Book, I would do that. And if I was the team, I would definitely do that. I mean, Book is like chokeholded at the Suns. You have no idea. Like, he has the potential to be an absolute superstar.
But like, would going to Minnesota be the best move for him? Because I think the reason Booker would leave. Yeah, the reason Booker would leave Phoenix is to try and like join a contender. Because obviously, he's an all-star, he's an insane offensive player. But it goes back to that thing with the Timberwolves. If you've already got D'Lo and Cat, who are both offensive beasts, you're kind of adding Booker again. You're tripling down on that all offense, no defense kind of move. I mean, it's an interesting one. I think for Phoenix, you're not really going to get many better offers than the number 1 pick, and obviously you get some other stuff on top of that. But draft wise, you actually cannot get a better trade asset for Booker. But I doubt the Suns would be wanting to trade him.
Yeah, at least not right now, which kind of sucks for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, well, he's their franchise player.
If they want Booker, they need to get a defensive anchor, kind of like the Warriors, how they had KD, Steph, and Clay, like those 3 like hyper offensive guys. They had Draymond in there to be that like defensive guy to kind of tie it all together, and everyone else just kind of played at a decent level. I still think the name of the game for the Timberwolves is find some defense. Maybe try and get like enough assets out of that number 1 overall pick to potentially trade for Booker after like next year.
You're saying trade their entire bench for Ben and trade their first pick for Book.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That would actually be a nut team.
Just need 4 players, that's it.
So those are our top trade options for the Minnesota Timberwolves number 1 overall pick. Comment down below, what do you think the Timberwolves should do with that pick?
Hey guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. Really appreciate your time and listening to our opinions. Whether you agree or disagree with us, please drop a comment down below. Let us know. We're just trying to learn and grow our channel. And talking to growing our channel, feel free to drop us a subscribe as well. Really help us grow and really get our name out there. Really appreciate it, guys.